Hey everyone, welcome back to GrownKid. I'm Gael,
And I'm Kayla.
and today's episode is AI making us incompetent, which happens to be one that of course you can't really escape. And we tried filming an episode before this, but then we kind of went back and re-recorded it, hence this episode, because we realized that the discussion around this is so passionate. And I remember I was on my Instagram story and I posted this video with the caption like, oh, I'm at this cafe and this 8-year-old comes in, starts playing the piano and just like talent mogs me while I'm fucking like asking ChatGPT how to spell instantaneous. And everybody in my replies was like, oh, I hope you're not using chat. I really hope that's not you. Like, you better not be using AI. You better not be using ChatGPT. And in my head, I was like, oh shit.
I was.
Because I definitely was, and I definitely do. And I want to get into the ethics and the morals of AI usage and what it means for us as young people, how we move forward with this technology that has essentially been forced onto us without our consent. But first, talking about how we use AI, because I know for sure Kayla and I sometimes feel like we're fucking villains
Oh, I
because we,
feel like a villain.
right?
I do feel
Because I'm
like
like,
a
I
villain.
love.
Yes, no, and I feel like a villain when I even share with other people, especially others that are like very anti-AI, that I use it. I feel like fuck, I'm doing something really wrong ethically and morally. And that's the part that like really makes me second guess myself.
But
Yes.
first,
Yeah.
like, how do you actually use it?
Let me see. I mean, I typically use AI every day. I'm coming forward, but I typically use it for making my like writing more succinct, more specific, concise. I'll write the actual contents of whatever it is that I'm writing, but I'll put it into chat to clean it up and stuff. And then I'll use it for like organizational purposes if I have to like make a document for work or something, or if I have to make an outline for something that I don't know where to start on. I also just go for it for like questions that I have, like just general random questions, because I feel like with AI, I can go back and forth with it and like tailor it to my own learning style and processes. So I feel like in that way, it's really helpful to like learn new subjects or just want to fasten your skills in that way. And then I'll occasionally use it for therapy, but that one isn't like very regular. It's like once every month, maybe once every 2 months. And it's typically when I feel like I just have exhausted all of my options and I'm not feeling like I can reach a conclusion by myself. I'm not feeling satisfied by talking with friends or family. And I need a third perspective to guide me through my own feelings. So that's when I typically use AI, but it's mainly honestly just for work and
Mm,
learning stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think for me, like all of what Kayla said, yes. And to be more specific, I find myself just, when it comes to therapy, I find myself brain dumping all of my thoughts when I feel like I've talked to my friends, but I still have this feeling of heaviness, and journaling isn't really helping because I don't even know what I'm feeling. And I just think I need a third person point of view, but I've exhausted my options. I will go to chat and I would just brain dump, stream of consciousness, write everything into the text box, send it, and then usually the bot will reply with an organization of my thoughts, which I think is very helpful because also a lot of the responses you get from AI depends on how you prompt it and the personality you attach to it. Like, respond to me in a very unbiased, technical, analytical, objective way that pushes back and that doesn't just agree with me. You could do stuff to make it a better experience or a more healthy experience. So I've done that with training my own bot to respond in that way. And so when I tell it my feelings, it usually just takes this brain dump and organizes it into something
Yeah.
that feels like it, to be fair, has actually given me many, many revelations, that many,
Same.
many like, oh shit moments that therapists never quite did. And I've tried therapy, and this is where I have the point of view that actually AI was something that I was very against when it comes to mental health support. I was like, this isn't going to work. You cannot go to a bot. It is not great. This is bad. It's bad for connection. The more that I began to use it, the more sold I was on this idea that this is going to be a very powerful and vital tool as we address the mental health epidemic, and we can't simply act like it isn't. Of course, there's going to need to be regulations and guidelines in place to make it more effective. And so as a result, I am aware that there is a lot of work to be done in the field, but right now, I found it to be genuinely more helpful than the therapy sessions that I used to go to. Because I did try therapy and I just felt like it really wasn't helping. This AI chatbot has a history of everything I've ever told it, every single person I've talked to about it, my patterns, it observes, it recognizes patterns, and it's able to take all of that with unlimited learning compute and spit out this thing that, you know, yes, you have to be aware of hallucinations and misinformation, but for the most part tends to be relatively accurate on the analysis of, hey, it looks like you are feeling this.
Yes.
Maybe have you considered this? And it did that really well.
Yeah. I'm also curious, does AI know anything about you that your friends don't? Like when it comes to your personal life, like have you had a dilemma before or a situation that you felt like you could go to chat more?
No.
Okay.
Every situation that I have told chat, I have talked to with a friend.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Actually, that is actually very good. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, shit.
Because I've thought about it. Like I have thought about it before of just like I'm in a situation and I want to go to chat first, but I'm like, let me not do that right off the bat. Let me talk to a trusted loved one. And then if I'm not feeling satisfied, then I'll go to chat.
Well, to be fair, I have sometimes gone to chat first and then been like, oh shit, this is what I'm feeling. And then go talk to a friend about, hey, so chat told me this and this and this, and I thought it was really interesting because of this. And then we'll have a conversation about it because it prompted a new perspective that I would have not come to the realization of beforehand, or my friends might not have either. So to me, like, yes, I use it for therapy in that way where when I really feel overwhelmed, I will go brain dump, get some analysis, and usually, not gonna lie, it's very effective. And that's usually my last stop. It's like, when I'm genuinely having a session at 3 a.m. with fucking chat, it is because I'm at my wit's fucking end.
Oh, yeah.
And I need something. And usually it comes out with an analysis that makes me feel more grounded and better able to approach and manage the situation emotionally and rationally. So there's that experience. There's some other fun ones, like fucking horoscopes. You've seen me do this. You've seen me be like, tell me the fucking horoscope and tell me who's my twin flame right now.
Okay, I do that too. Fuck. I forgot about that one. I do use it for my horoscope. It has my birth chart.
It has my fucking birth chart?
It has my fucking
time,
birth chart.
date, location.
Yes. And I do find it useful, especially like if I want to check my compatibility with somebody too. Put that into chat. But I haven't really used that one as much. Typically when there's a retrograde, sure, like I'll be like, what's the fuck am I?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's typically because my body keeps a score and I'll feel it before even asking chat. I'm like, I feel like something is in the air right now.
Yeah.
And so it'll let me know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I use it for that. I use it to keep track of my gym progress, offer nutritional and fitness advice. I use it to help me be more efficient with the vitamins that I should take. I ask it, hey, this is my diet. What vitamins should I be taking to supplement that? I'm like, hey, look, these are the products. These are my skin issues. This is what I've been seeing. What are products that I should use? When should I use them? Can you help me build out my routine?
I don't know why, but sometimes I just feel like I don't trust chat when it comes to like give me like product recommendations or like vitamin recommendations. Because I feel like I've done that before and then I've actually looked at the products and I'm like, chat led me fucking astray and chat was trying to sabotage me. I think that's because it's using like misinformation from like the internet. Like,
but that's fair. It does hallucinate. That's the big danger is that like that's genuinely probably a good thing. And you should be approaching whatever it gives you to do with skepticism.
Go on Reddit.
Go on Reddit. Reddit has the answer. There's already a human that has answered that. No, but genuinely, yes, you should still be double checking the products, making sure this works, looking at the reviews. You know, it's just the idea to give me somewhere to start.
Yeah.
It gives me some place to start and then I can go verify everything, which you should be doing. If you are using chat for any sort of learning, research, recommendations, you should be using it as a starting point and then going and doing your own research, because chat will hallucinate. AI tools do give you misinformation and frankly just slop and things that aren't true, and you will call it out on its mistakes. It will say like, oh shit, you're right, and then make the same mistake again.
It would do that all the time. I remember throwback in college, I would be using it and it would give me a wrong answer because I would have the answer key of like what the actual answer is, and I'd be like, chat, you're wrong. And it'd be like, oh yes, I'm sorry.
I guess I missed this.
Yeah, I guess actually, yeah, you are correct. And I'm like, don't fucking play with me right now, chat. My grade is on the line, bro.
Yeah, you
And
can't
so then
trust it.
but then it would give me another like refined answer and it was still wrong. And I'm like, chat, you missed something in here because
Yes,
this is not right.
yes, I
Yeah.
know. Good. How often
Yeah.
or how were you using it in college?
In college, I remember now, I was using it a lot for coding. I think it saved me so much time when it came to coding because it was able to spot like stupid ass small mistakes that I wouldn't, it would be like a fucking comma, a semicolon or something. And I wouldn't have been able to like, or it would just take me a long time to be able to like spot this mistake and like fix my code and stuff. So I would use it a lot for that. I would use it as a tutor. Like if I didn't understand something in my classes, I would like upload some slides to chat and be like, can you explain this topic more in depth? And I would be able to ask it questions. If I still didn't understand it, I'd be like, explain it as if you were explaining it to a child or like a 10-year-old to just like simplify the information. And I honestly really enjoyed it for those purposes because I feel like I had a lot of breakthrough moments with chat because again, it was like my own personal tutor and I didn't feel annoying asking it questions or I didn't feel stupid or anything because it was literally tailored to me. I would also use it for writing, of course. Yeah, a lot of that.
Because I know like a big part of, I mean, I wasn't in school, but a big part of how I used it was to help me write things, just emails that I didn't want to even think about because I'm like, I'm just trying to move through 15 emails. Let me just use AI, put it like, okay, draft the response. There you go. Like, sloppily type a paragraph in and then be like clean it up, have it, send it out.
Yeah, I would definitely use the clean it
right
up.
So but for essays and stuff, I mean, I don't think you should ever be just saying write an essay on blah blah blah.
No,
like that's
please
stupid.
do not do that.
That's stupid. No, I could see like, yes, you write like a really rough first draft and just put everything out, don't really care too much about grammar, sentence structure, just kind of like stream of consciousness, again, like putting the ideas on paper and then just being like clean it up. I do that a lot. I am not particularly proud that I do that because I know it is degrading my writing skills. My writing skills have definitely degraded significantly. One, because I wasn't in college, so I didn't get that next level of intense education, but also because I was relying on these tools so much.
Yeah, well, I also wouldn't feel like super disadvantaged because you didn't learn a lot of writing skills in college because I know a lot of other college students were using chat for their writing. So in a lot of times it was like the playing field is even. You guys are both using the same tool, sure, maybe for different uses, but regardless, it's doing the same thing for both of you guys.
Yeah, that's the big dilemma. I think a lot of people that are anti-AI is, of course, in the classroom. That's like, well, if you are using AI to learn and do your assignments for you, that is the same AI that's going to take your job. This has been such a huge talking point of college students using AI to complete their assignments, to do anything, to offload the cognitive load onto this bot.
Oh yeah, it also just like, and to speak a little bit more on it, I mean, I remember like my last year of college, I was just like kind of checked out. I was like, I'm not really excited to be in my classes, not really excited to learn, sort of just want to like speed run the shit. And so I would use chat more often to, yes, make it more efficient. But I was also like very much aware and I felt guilty a lot of the times because it just felt like I was doing myself a disservice by using chat. But also like I did have a lot of other things to balance on my plate. I don't know. At times it just felt like I don't know what else to do. If I want to be able to meet all my deadlines, accomplish everything I want to in a day, in a week, I need to find a way to be efficient. And the answer for that was chat. But yeah, a lot of times I did feel just not good about my AI usage, but that was like in college specifically because I knew that I was using it for like shortcuts and stuff. But now that I'm out of that, I feel like my usage is really just for efficiency and work. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the dilemma with AI, and I asked all of you right before this episode to send me the reasons why you don't like AI, because like I said, the response to me posting a simple story about using AI, they were like, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it. And I was like, okay, I'm really curious to hear how people think about it, because I was actually like very pro AI before really like looking into the stuff. And I wanted to understand why people were so against it. And there's so many facets to cover here that I'm trying to figure out where to start. So hopefully we've now given you an idea of how we use it in our life. And let me tell you, it definitely has made us feel incompetent at times. For me, most noticeably when it comes to my writing skills, that's where I really am like, I've been trying to be conscious about using chat to write a little less. I've been, even when I am using it to have it write something, I'm very hyper aware of the fact that, oh my God, every time I use this, I'm probably losing a little bit of my skills. It is leading, and this is actually proven that it is leading to reduced cognitive function. And there's a cognitive decline in students because their chat GPT and AI use has gone up.
Yeah.
So we know that it is making us dumber. Optimists are saying, well, it could actually be a really powerful tool for learning because you have access to essentially a personalized tutor that typically would cost thousands of dollars. That's now at your fingertips. And I was a very big believer in that argument. But if we're being realistic with ourselves, it's very much it can help. Most likely it won't. Like, people are inherently lazy. It is why we doom scroll. It is why we give into social media and all of these addictive dopamine habits, because we are lazy. We want to be entertained and we want to reduce the cognitive load as much as possible. So even if we have the opportunity to learn, most of us, the majority of the American population and even around the world, will not choose to take on the role of actually improving themselves. I don't think it's a good enough use case to use it as an argument for why AI should be more commonplace in our society.
Well, I also think that using chat in college also is just like a broader picture that is the problem that is just in universities, that where students are prioritizing grades and the end goal to the grades rather than the actual process. And people are willing to do anything to get a B, get an A, instead of with their own merit, get a D or like get a C. It just feels like AI is already supplementing a problem that is already there.
This episode is sponsored by the Schultz Family Foundation, whose mission is to create greater opportunity accessible to all. The foundation supports young adults across the country, whether that's building stronger career pathways or investing in AI tools that make the job search more accessible and transparent, ensuring everyone gets a fair shot at success. I think when you think about, is AI making us incompetent as a whole, or just what is the role of AI now in our lives? Should we use it? Should we not use it? How should we use it if we choose to do so? The best answer that I would be able to give on if we should use it and how would be, yes, we should use it when it comes to trying to teach ourselves and give us access to resources that have typically been unavailable to those of a lower class and lower income due to the fact that those resources and opportunities were just not available. And we should try to take advantage of that as much as possible to get to a place where we can even the playing field as we try to progress in our career and in our jobs and our educational journey. So what I mean by that is, while someone of a higher class and income level might have access to tutors, generations of connections like parents, grandparents, friends of friends that are lawyers, doctors, executives that can offer the kid advice for anything, and they're just a text away. You can be, hey mom, can you help me on my financial aid application? Can you help me understand this legal document or sign up to a healthcare insurer? Then you start to think, okay, well, we never had access to that because our parents would never be able to help us with that. AI has allowed us to have this information at our fingertips. And in that sense, that is an incredibly powerful thing. And it is good. A lot of the problems with thinking about the morals of AI usage come down to things like the climate. Every major country in the AI race is abandoning all of their environmental goals for the sake of producing more electricity and winning the AI race. The implications of this are huge environmentally, of course, and I do think that many of the people that choose not to use AI for this reason are fair in their judgment. At times, I do wonder, though, it left me feeling with a sense of pessimism and doomerism of, our environment is so fucked. What are we to do? Especially when you come from a background like ours, where we are using this tool from a different point of view than many of our listeners and many of the people that are using AI, which is that we are using this as a tool to help us as business owners, as entrepreneurs. We use this tool because, just this week I used it to help me develop accounting systems, to help me understand how to do accounting, to help me learn how to do better system and project management, skills that I didn't learn in college because I didn't have the opportunity to go to college, because I didn't have the privilege for it. It feels like I have to use AI because I am trying. Ultimately, yes, I am selfish and I'm going to care for myself before I care for anything else. And yes, that is inherently the problem with much of our issues as a society, is that we are individualistic and we choose to want to advance our own profit, our own career success, our own goals, our own individualistic goals. I am trying to do my best to reduce my impact on others. I am trying my best to create something that is helpful for people, that helps my communities. But also, at the end of the day, it is me trying to do my best to survive and to help my family.
A lot of times it feels like we don't have a lot of mentors at our disposal that we can go to, or we don't have a lot of time to take the morally correct route to figure out a lot of these things. We don't have the resources. We don't have a lot of things. And AI is providing a glimpse of that. It's providing us something that is tangible. Sure, it's not fully there, but again, it's giving us a starting point and it's giving us runway, which is what we desperately need, because again, we grew up not having these resources. And so of course, like, yeah, it makes me feel morally guilty using AI, and like I'm not going to disregard that feeling because I know the very real impact that it's having on a lot of communities, even though it's not right in front of my face. But at the same time, it just feels like even if I stop using it, a lot of other people in our industry are still going to use it. And they're the ones that are going to be getting ahead, again, having more time to do XYZ, and it's us that are being left behind, even though we are taking a more morally correct route. So it does cause a moral dilemma in me. And I guess just a lot of times it just feels like I need to use this to stay relevant because I
Yeah.
fear that I would be left behind, and I can't afford to be left behind
Yeah.
right now or ever.
And that's so fair. And I think anyone that is unwilling to see that both sides have very valid reasons for using AI or not using AI, like, you have to see both, or else you are simply just being as ignorant as the people you claim are the most ignorant.
Yeah, and it's also hard though because I feel like when I talk with other people that are anti AI and using it, and they bring up the argument of the climate and environment and it becomes a moral issue, it just feels like there's no winning in that argument because it's like, yeah, you're right. You are fully right.
Because you have the moral high ground.
No, literally, they have the moral high ground, and then I just feel like a piece of shit for being like, damn, I got business to run for real. Like,
Yeah, sorry.
it's like
But see,
I feel like a piece
that's
of
the
shit.
thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you can say the morally right thing. At the end of the day, all of us have a choice to do our best to be morally good to the highest extent that we can. But we are human, and there are many ways in which we will not be the most morally pure person out there. I'm sure some of the people that are screaming about the environmental factors of AI and this and that are participating in fast fashion consumption and overconsumption and consumerism, and many of us are hypocrites. And I think we just have to acknowledge that and know where our sins lie, but also know where we are doing a good and genuine attempt. And so with that being said, I think I also want to acknowledge about some of the ways that AI is going to help us advance ourselves, because that is one thing that all of us are truthfully seeking is, I am scared of losing my job. I am scared of losing my livelihood and not being able to feed my family, afford my education, or even just have a roof over my head. And so I want to acknowledge that AI has the opportunity to provide us with new career options. The people that are working at these data centers, tons of new jobs are being created as a result. Yes, there is a lot of displacement happening and a lot of jobs are being replaced due to AI. And it just means keeping up with the new skills of the new age and making it aware that we know we might be replaced. And so we have to guard ourselves. And so I do want to acknowledge that, there is a silver lining, and that's new jobs are being created. There are electricians that will be forced to care for these complex systems, and they would be paid very well. And if you are a young person that's looking for a new career, it might not be computer science anymore. Maybe it is being in the trades, or maybe it is working as someone that understands the hardware of AI that is there in the data centers, trying to make them more efficient, which in its own way could be your way of being an activist and helping the planet, is helping advance the technology that pushes us towards a more sustainable and green future. And so as a result, I do want to make sure that we touch on that, because it is important and it's not all doomerism. And I know it's, I felt to myself that I was like, there's no way to go about this. Like, God, I'm a terrible person. AI, really, there's no excuse. But, there's ways to overcome it. And and it starts with having a more intentional usage of AI. Like we said earlier, it starts with doing research on where the world is going, what careers and jobs will open up as old ones close, and understanding that there's a silver lining. We can only talk about our own experience. And I think when it comes to what are the jobs of the future, the biggest skills is not asking what the job of the future is, but learning to recognize that you just need to be agile, you need to be adaptable, you need to be a self-starter and learn how to take control of these tools early so that you control it and it doesn't control you. And ensure that you do your best to protect your brain as much as possible. Protect it from the dopamine influx you get through doom scrolling, protect it from the cognitive decline when you unload that stress onto a machine. Learn to do things the hard way, learn to inconvenience yourself for the sake of learning, for the sake of being a little bit more human. And I think if you do that, you will find a way to get through a lot of this negativity around jobs and the marketplace and art and creativity and these tools taking over. And so as a result, we do want to talk with someone that might be able to offer us a little bit of advice on this.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jared Chung. I'm the executive director of careervillage.org. We help people navigate the labor market. And the first skill that I would strongly encourage everybody to really be investing in is agility. That means paying attention to what changes are happening in the occupation you're trying to get into. Like a few times a year, go read the industry news and see what they're saying about the skills and automation and AI and all that. Just get a sense periodically, stay abreast, because you'll see this change coming from like miles away if you're actually spending just a little time trying to get an understanding of like what the industry news is like in the sector you're trying to get into. And then be agile. If you new skills are coming up, go learn those. So that's the first skill. The second thing I'd say is all the stuff that you normally need to do in order to complete a job, you got to do that stuff. You got to know it so well you can manage it. I think there's a lot more of like management that has to happen. And not management like the boring stuff. I mean, like knowing what work has to be done, knowing how to decide if the work is done well, right? Delegating it properly, and then like figuring out, like, okay, the work is done, and what do we do next as a result? Obviously, you need to know how to do the work, but if you can know it so well you can manage it, that is like the new entry level job, really, is like being able to manage the work, especially if, we'll see what happens with AI, but like one potential way this could end up is that, we're overseeing a lot of automation. Well, then you got to manage the work. So I think that just raises the bar. It's like people say like, oh, you want to learn something so well you could teach it. Well, now you got to know how to do the job so well you can manage it.
And I think something also that's a big theme in this episode is AI making us incompetent or just not allowing us to trust ourselves and trust our intuition? Because even I myself find my AI usage getting to the point where I'm like, okay, well, should I do this? But I feel like if I just put it through AI once, then it's going to be a little bit better. So I'm curious, how should we use AI in a way that actually sharpens our intuition and doesn't just replace it?
I understand where people are coming from on that, and I think at the surface level, sure, makes sense. I mean, you have a question, you get it answered. You have something you want to make, it's written, right? Done deal. But that's just the first step of things. Like when you get to the intermediate level of stuff or the advanced level of things, when you're like really getting deep into what is it you're trying to work on right now? You're trying to write something. It's like if you're just trying to send an email to somebody and it's not a big deal. Sure, you're gonna get it written. You're not using your intuition, but I would argue you didn't need to use your intuition anyway. You were just trying to get this thing out the door, right? That wasn't the place where you really should be using your intuition. Where you really need your intuitions when you're trying to go next level. When you're trying to do something interesting, something novel, something that's really gonna add a lot of value for your friend or your family member or your boss or whoever. you still need to use that intuition there, right? Like I think even when you're chatting with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever, it's like the conversations that go deeper, right, are the ones that are more interesting, probably where you're doing something more important. And I still think we have that need for intuition. I'd say go deeper with your use of AI or put AI aside, right, and go for a walk and really think hard for yourself. But I think it's fair to feel like, we are using it like a crutch to get out of thinking hard. But I find often if that's the case, it's probably because we're just scratching the surface of what really needs to be done anyway. So I say challenge yourself. Are you really providing as much value as you can provide to the people around you, making their lives better? You go further. I think you'll find better uses for your intuition.
And also, just to change the narrative a little bit, I want to talk about, yes, AI is replacing jobs, but also it's creating jobs. And so, could you tell me a little bit about what are the jobs that young people could seek out in the future, considering AI's impact? And also some of the skill sets that we should be investing more into now that we know this.
Well, so there's so much change going on. It's a little bit hard to answer with like super definitively, but what I'll say is there's two things to pay attention to. Okay. One thing to pay attention to is that there's a whole bunch of jobs out there that are in high demand. They're going to keep being in high demand. Like all the macro trends support those jobs continuing to be. So like a good example of this is like healthcare, right? Like, so like nursing, super, super in demand. We are not automating nursing. Like we need more nurses. And there's like this huge list of healthcare occupations that are just like up and to the right. It's not the only one. It's like, sort of green energy. And there's like all these areas where there's a lot of growth. But I think you're right that there are some new occupations that are being created. There's a lot of churn in the tech sector. So there's a lot of jobs being created. They're not the same like entry level programmer jobs that we used to see. But for example, if you have skills of using artificial intelligence to program, then or like working on the quality of an AI system or something like that, these are things that are like cropping up now for the first time. And these job titles are kind of still like being defined. So there's definitely like jobs in the AI world. I know that IT security is a growing area as like AI is adopted in more places. The safety and security of those systems becomes like trickier, and so there's a lot of demand there.
I think staying flexible is such an important part because, again, it's just AI is evolving so quickly that no one really knows. The things we were saying 2 years ago are so outdated now. And I guess to, reinforce that point that being flexible truly is such a hard and useful skill nowadays. But to end on a little bit of a positive note, I do want to ask, what are some of the positive impacts of AI? And what's something that can give us a little bit of hope into this new future?
Oh, I have a lot that I'm very, very excited to see. I hope it all comes true, right? So, for example, I'm really, really interested in what kind of new healthcare innovations are going to come out. Already, we're seeing cool stuff happening. I'm really interested in what's going to happen with science. We might see like a creativity sort of revolution where like lots of people come up with like amazing interesting ideas for content that they can create that they never were able to before, and we just have like this sort of flourishing humor and drama and like maybe new genres that like come out of human creativity with more power. So I'm like really excited about those things, and honestly I think navigating the change is hard, but coming out the other side, what is potentially possible is that we have more and better services to make our lives better. And I think that's what we're hoping for, right? And the agility of everybody listening to navigate that change, honestly, I think is what's going to decide whether we end up there or not.
I think so much of it is just staying aware and not falling behind. It's, actually using these tools and engaging with them and not being so fearful or avoidant. The more you use it, the more competent you'll be and the more ready and prepared that your skills will be once this is something that reaches maybe your industry or job. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to everyone that DM'd me about your perspective on AI. A lot of that shaped my thinking, and it was very, very useful and really nice to hear. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope you don't hate us for using chat.
I know, I'm like, please guys, don't let your perceptions of us change. I like to think that we're good people, regardless of our
AI
usage.
usage. You
Can the
are.
two exist at the same
Can the
time?
two exist at the same time?
don't
I
know.
think so. Sorry. But I think so.
I
I
think
think we
so
do what we can to survive.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are unwilling participants in a system that pits us against each other.
Yeah.
So give people grace, truly. Thank you for listening. GrownKid.com if you ever want to come to a New York City event and hang out with us for Grown Kids Club, our social club for 18 to 24-year-olds. And follow us on Instagram at GrownKid for more stuff. And maybe also launching a Substack soon.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
You know, the
To
natural
practice
progression.
writing. To practice writing.
Yeah. So if you see some spelling errors, some punctuation, you know, whatever,
Typos are cool.
that's how you know that we didn't run it through chat. So
All right. Well, we'll see you in the next one. Bye. This episode is sponsored by the Schultz Family Foundation, whose mission is to create greater opportunity accessible to all. The foundation supports young adults across the country, whether that's building stronger career pathways or investing in AI tools that make the job search more accessible and transparent, ensuring everyone gets a fair shot at success.